guys, welcome to this Adobe Photoshop course on creating a Sci-Fi Cyborg type character. Okay, so I'm really excited to bring you this course. We're going to cover loads of great features within Photoshop. So some of them we're going to cover. We're going to cover frequency separation, we're going to cover color curves, adjustment layers, layer mask, smoothing, blemish removal, levels and adjustments. I'll give you some planning and advice, and layer styles, working in a non-destructive workflow, and we're going to cover a load of retouching skills as well. We're going to cover blending and grading and loads of stuff in between. So watch the next part of the video where I will go through some of the videos that we're going to cover during the course. So there's loads to learn. It's quite an in-depth course. It's good for beginners, to intermediates, maybe to advanced as well. So I hope you enjoy this course, and I'll see you in the lesson. So if we now look at what we're going to start with on the course, we've got these assets in here, and we've got the high-res image that we're going to start with. So all your assets are downloadable, so download your assets before you start the course, and then you can move along with it. We're then going to move into actually gathering reference material for our image. So we're going to grab a load of mechanical parts, and these are the parts that we use up to make the actual eye itself, where we cut the skin out and put the skull piece in. We will then use these mechanical parts and make it look cyborgy. We'll also be looking for things like lights for the eyes, so we're going to reference gather for those as well before we move on to the next part of the course. During this part of the course, we would do some color correcting to get our image looking right for the next stage. So we'll be color correcting in the second lecture and just adjusting our image and doing everything we need to do using some layer styles there and some adjustment layers. Looking at the shape of the head, we can see that there are lots of problems around, so we're going to just use some skills to actually remove this hair, flyaway hair, and create a patch for the top of the head as well, like this. The next phase of the course will be to create some frequency separations to separate the detail away from the color information and be able to work on those separately for retouch work. Once we have our frequency separation, we will then start to actually put detail in and remove blemishes and smooth out the skin using several techniques. We will finish up with an image that is nice and clean and looks very smooth, and the skin will all be corrected so that it looks really good. And then we'll move on to the next lesson. In this lesson, we're going to actually cut her out from the background so that we can have her separated from the background, so we can make some changes to the background and to her independently of each other. The next phase is to start working or planning out where our actual eye socket is going to go into our image. So we're going to start to lay this out so that we have an idea of what we're going to do. We're also going to put a proxy skull in place so that we can see where the skull lies and use that as an underlying base to put our mechanics on top of, like this. In this next lesson, we will now start to create the socket itself. We will cut out and mask all the parts that we need and start to put the eyeball into position. For this next part of the course, we'll actually start to refine the skin around the hole itself to give it a little bit more depth, like this. The next phase is to start to integrate some of the mechanics into the eyeball and to make the eyeball look a little bit better in place of the socket. In this next lesson, we're going to look at actually creating some mechanics at the back of the eye socket itself. So we'll be using techniques to put that in there and around the socket itself as well. So this is the inside socket area we're doing now, and we'll move on to the outside socket area once this is completed. Like this. Finally, we'll start to integrate the colour so that the colour all works within the eye and the image itself. And so we'll spend a little bit of time just doing some colour correcting here, just getting the final image ready for setup. In this next part of the course, we will actually start to create the skin flaps around the outside. Now we've got all our eye in position and our lighting and all our mechanics in the eye, we can start thinking about the flaps around the outside of the eye area. So this piece will be created here for the eye, when we'll start to use Liquify to move this part back. So now you can see that we're in Liquify and we're starting to move this flap of skin back for it to fit into the eye itself. We're going to do both the top and the bottom section of the eye. Finally, we'll start blending the two pieces together to give ourselves a more realistic look. This will then take us to the final lesson where we will just finish off, clean up and export out as a JPEG. So if you like this workflow and you think, yeah, this is a good course for me, then I'll see you there.